The third thing which you have to bring with you to make it a successful meeting is your heart, passion, compassion. And finally, I think you need good nerves. When you bring together 2,500 people, it will require, from time to time, good nerves.
Welcome back to Davos, Switzerland at the World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab has spoken, and that is the official opening of the opening ceremonies. And Trace joins me now. She's back here on the set. And the energy level here, there's a certain vibe that's happening. You were walking around earlier today. How'd it feel?
Absolutely. You can feel it in the air. You can sense it. A lot of people talking, a lot of great conversations happening. In fact, just earlier today, I was walking around in the Congress Center, and not to name drop Phil, but I ran into Professor Nouriel Roubini. I ran into the Indian finance minister. I ran into the Brazilian delegation. So everywhere you turn, you seem to be running into all these leaders and CEOs, and you almost don't know where to look, but you can definitely sense that today is the day where a lot of officials have officially descended in Davos. Security is extremely high. In fact, taxis can't even access the main Congress Center, let alone the shuttle buses that are designated to take delegates to and from the Congress Center and their hotels. They also aren't allowed within these security parameters of the Congress Center. So clearly you can see that there's a sense of almost importance and urgency as well as excitement in the air tonight.
All right, Trace, thank you very much. You know, there's much more to come here on the World Economic Forum. There's also the International Monetary Fund. They released their report on what their expectations are for the year 2014. There were some upgrades and there were some serious downgrades as well. But some of the main key concerns that have existed here over the past few years seemingly taking a bit of a back seat. We had a chance to talk to arriving delegates for day one of the forum, what their expectations were for the 2014 forum.
I think I've been here now a number of years, and it's always a great gathering because you've got the chance to talk to policymakers, to other business people. So certainly I look forward to making these contacts. In terms of the themes, I think one of the big worries right now is the slowdown in the emerging world. So I think there'll be a lot of discussion and dialogue around that. You know, what are they going to do to get their growth rates back up? The other piece of good news is that the US, UK, Germany all growing rapidly. So I think people will be more upbeat about that.
A lot of good focus on people and talent this year, a lot of focus on education, and we think there's going to be a lot of good energy around moving the needle.
This year, we are going to discuss much about, the world concern things like aging populations or, fiscal crisis, so on. So, I expect that we are going to discuss about the sort of worldwide problems like aging or environment or, fiscal problems.
We look forward to a very different forum this year. It's a very, I see a resurgent view coming out of the Europe. And I hope there are a lot of discussions around how Europe can benefit out of the turmoil that has gone through over the last few years. And hopefully some of these sessions will be interesting. So anything to do with Europe and its economic turmoil.
Well, I think we're facing, a very complicated world as usual. I'm very interested in understanding more about the millennial challenge, youth unemployment. And I'm also very curious to see some solutions around income disparity.
And certainly those themes are very important, but there's also the little issue of just getting to Davos, and it's just not that easy. Shraysi Tandon has been researching this, and how do people get there? How do they get invited? And more importantly, what's it cost?
That's the million-dollar question, no pun intended. It's one thing to get the coveted exclusive invitation to be a member, a delegate, or just an official participant at the annual World Economic Forum. But even once you score that highly coveted invitation, it's another issue altogether, getting yourself here. Let's take a look at what exactly it takes to be a so-called Davos delegate. The World Economic Forum is strictly invitation only. Every year, the exclusive invites go out to presidents, heads of states, CEOs of the world's largest corporations, tech innovators, philanthropists, and media organizations. Society's elite, all rubbing their fur-covered shoulders in the alpine town of Davos. There's a price to pay for such exclusivity. Heads of state, academics, and news anchors can attend the forum for free. CEOs and other business leaders have to pay and get ready for sticker price shock. A World Economic Forum ticket costs $20,000. Reaching Europe's highest city, nestled in the Swiss Alps, isn't for the budget-conscious traveler. Delegates arriving from New York flying business class pay around $5,000 to $10,000. Then there's the distance between Zurich and Davos. It's a $10,000 helicopter ride. Many high-profile delegates often hire luxury cars with drivers. That will set you back a cool $5,000 for the week.
There's a stereotype of Davos that it's just this big elitist gabfest. And the World Economic Forum did start out being a meeting, really, where people came together, but then it became a think tank. But now really what it's becoming is a kind of a do tank, in the sense that it's not just encouraging conversation, it's encouraging action.
With a limited number of hotels in Davos, finding a place to rest your head will cost you too. Most hotels charge more during the World Economic Forum than they do over Christmas or New Year's. A modest 3-star hotel can set you back over $600 a night. Once you've got your invitation, bought your plane ticket, and booked your hotels, it's time to look good. The snowy weather calls for winter jackets, sweaters, and snow boots. Whether you're walking to a meeting or making your way to the many posh parties night after night, it's not uncommon to see delegates wearing designer suits, complete with designer boots.
There is no equivalent of such a body and such an event all across the year and the world, where you have politicians, economists, corporates, everybody coming in, having a ball, having a party, talking business, celebrating business, etc. From that point, it is definitely a great thing to do. But yeah, I mean, it's always nice if they make it cheaper. Who wouldn't want it to be cheaper? It's always nice. In terms of what you pay and what you get, it's always debatable, but I think it's a great thing to be, a great place to be in.
Whether you spend your week attending meetings and forums or just prefer attending black tie receptions and après-ski parties, you will spend, and then spend some more. By some estimates, the average cost of attending the Davos Forum is $40,000.